Welcome back to the third and final day of Rally Mexico. This could be the last time we see these stages for a couple of years, as the rally isn't on next season's calendar. It's been another hot and dusty event, but the fans have been enjoying every second. The Mexican dramas began early, Henning Solberg's starting proceedings with this roll. It cost him 3.5 minutes and any chance of a decent finish. He starts today in 9th. His brother Petter started very brightly in his revamped Impreza, winning the first 3 stages. But a freak rocked hold his oil cooler, draining the engine of oil and ending what had been a dream start. World champion Sebastian Loeb inherited Solberg's lead after a steady start in his C4's first gravel showing. On day 2, he pushed really hard in the morning loop of stages, extending his lead to 57 seconds. He starts today 1 minute ahead of the chasing pack. Ford's Marcus Gronholm was another driver to have a terrible first day. He was way off the pace, finding himself in a battle with Manfred Stoll for 6th. But once his mechanics cured a temperature sensor fault, the Big Finn was back on the pace on day 2. On stage 11, he jumped from 5th to 2nd, a position he holds today. Gronholm's teammate Mikko Hirvonen also started slowly, but fought his way into 3rd on the first day. On the following leg, he then found himself back in a battle with his teammates. But this spin cost him 30 seconds and brought an end of his challenge for 2nd place. Citroen's Dani Sordo had a steady start, but on day 2 found himself in a battle for 3rd after Mikko's spin. The pair swapped places on day 2, but in the Super Special, it was the young Spaniard who snatched 3rd overall. He starts today just 2.8 seconds ahead of Hirvonen. Chris Atkinson became the only Subaru in the field after Petter's retirement, and he finished the first day in 2nd. But on day 2, he suffered boost problems, which dropped him to 5th overall. He's still in with a shout today as he starts just 9.7 seconds behind Hirvonen. But Matthew Wilson wins the bizarre moment of the Rally Award as he approached the shut gate in the middle of a stage. The Brit had no choice but to smash straight through it. So, after 2 days, Loeb leads by a minute. Gronholm is also safe in 2nd, but 3rd is definitely up for grabs, as Hirvonen is just 2.8 seconds behind 3rd place Dani Sordo. And Chris Atkinson is only 9.7 seconds behind in 5th. So, 1 day to go, 4 stages and 62 competitive kilometres. There's still plenty to catch the drivers out, with jumps and bumps in the first 3 tests, and it all finishes with one final run around the Super Special in Leon. The first of the 4 final stages of Rally Mexico is about to get underway, and Chris Atkinson is seconds away from launching his Impreza into the 16 kilometres of stage 17. And away he goes.
8 left plus, don't cut, braking 70, 3 left, long, don't.
The Australian starts the final leg just under 10 seconds adrift of Mikko Hirvonen in 4th after slipping back following turbo problems yesterday afternoon. But can he rejoin that battle for the final podium place?
7, don't cut.
Manfred Stoll is already well into the stage. The Austrian is running in 6th, but too far adrift of the frontrunners to make an impression. It's been another controlled performance, though, from the OMV Citroen driver. Mikko Hirvonen is 4th after being passed by Dani Sordo on the end of day's Super Specials yesterday. But with just 2.8 seconds to make up, this will be an intriguing contest today. With Atkinson, and Subaru will be delighted with their new car's debut on gravel.
Don't go wide, and 7 right plus.
The changes to weight distribution, along with other details such as revised dampers, have resulted in a much more stable Impreza. With handling and traction improved, the team have reason for optimism this season. Atkinson has reached the end of the stage. Let's see if Chris is happy with his first run this morning.
We were plus 4, sort of a team.
Chris, how was that this morning?
Not so bad, but we made a setup change and it seems to have gone a little bit the wrong way and we lost some time.
Atkinson's certainly not happy, so this fight for third could soon become a two-way battle between Hirvonen and this man, Danny Sordo. Quickly up through the gears, the C4 looking very stable as it accelerates away on the dusty surface. His teammate may be leading, but Danny too has proved this new car's potential on the loose stuff, and we're about to get an early indication of who has made the best start this morning. As Sordo approaches the 4-kilometre split time, comparing the two drivers with virtual spectator, the Spaniard is slightly slower. He's 1 second down to this point. That's not enough to lose third yet, but he'll need to react to Hirvonen's pace. The Ford driver will be driving to Sordo's split times, so he'll know he has made the better start. But has he been able to build on his early momentum? He's cleared the stage. Time for a quick word with the Finn, who isn't entirely happy this morning.
My helmet is getting broke. I can't hear pace notes only from one side, and it's getting weaker all the time. This is definitely not the time I wanna have that one.
Problems too for Mikko then, but back in the stage, and his teammate Marcus Gronholm is in a comfortable position in second. The Finn finally found his true pace yesterday, but it came too late to challenge for the win. For now, he'll have to be content with the runner-up spot. Rally leader Sebastian Loeb is about to begin his final charge for victory. He begins leg 3 with a lead of more than a minute, so no need to take unnecessary risks today. Back to that fight for the final podium place, and we rejoin Danny Sordo as he attacks the last kilometre of stage 17. He had a buffer of just 2.8 seconds before this stage, remember. And using virtual spectator again to compare the two drivers to this point. And look at this, Hirvonen is a long, long way ahead. Sordo could be in trouble here. He's going to lose third. Yes, Hirvonen has reclaimed the position. Danny is now 6.6 seconds behind. So Citroen's number 2 is falling back, but there's little chance of his teammate losing his position. Once he claimed the lead following Petter Solberg's misfortune on leg 1, the Frenchman has been back to his imperious best. After his disastrous run in Norway, this has been the perfect response so far. He can't match the terrific time from Hirvonen, but Seb is only concerned with keeping Gronholm behind, and he beats the Finn by another 1.1 seconds. So that 1 minute cushion remains between first and second place. But behind the front two, Hirvonen is back to third, 6.6 seconds ahead of Danny Sordo. Atkinson is now 17.8 seconds behind the Spaniard in fifth. So Sordo's lost third, but can he fight back? Join us after the break to find out. Welcome back to Mexico, where Sebastian Loeb is just 3 stages away from his second win of the year. But Mikko Hirvonen isn't yet secure in third. He's 6.6 seconds ahead of Sordo. The next stage is the longest of the final leg at 23 kilometres. Jari-Matti Latvala has had a steady, if unspectacular, weekend. It's the Finns' debut in Mexico in a WRC car, having competed here last year in a production spec Subaru. So it's all valuable experience, and he'll be reasonably content with 7th if he can hang on. Manfred Stoll begins stage 18 just under a minute ahead of the Stobart VK Ford man. The Austrian will be satisfied with his first outing on gravel in the 2006 Citroën Zara. He's been adapting to the car over the weekend and will be confident of fighting for podium places later in the year. As he approaches the finish line, though, he's going to lose a lot of time to Latvala here. He may have just backed off to secure the position, but he's lost 18.7 seconds, so his advantage is trimmed to just over 40. Getting back to that battle for the final podium place, and Mikko Hirvonen is again looking very fast. He still has the intercom problem with his pace notes, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. He sets another good time. Sordo, meanwhile, is pushing as hard as he can. He still wants that last podium place. The former junior World Rally champion has less experience on this event than Mikko. Last year was his debut compared to the Finns' 2 attempts at Rally Mexico. The Citroën driver is slower again, losing another 4.1 seconds to his rival. But even with nobody to fight with, the front 2 drivers are giving a masterclass to their younger teammates through stage 18. Gronholm has never won here, his best result coming in 2005 with a 2nd place finish, which is a surprise as these stages should be perfectly suited to the Ford driver. With Rally Mexico currently off the calendar for 2008, Marcus may have to wait a little longer for his debut win in North America. But he sends a reminder of his ability with a terrific time through stage 18. He's 4.2 seconds quicker than his teammates. But it's all too little too late in terms of his hopes of catching this man. Speed in the C4 on gravel will no doubt have caused alarm bells to start ringing in the Ford and Subaru camps. This car already proved its pace on tarmac in Monte Carlo, and to be so fast so quickly on a loose surface event is very worrying for Citroën's rivals. But it's fantastic news for world champion Sébastien Loeb. The Frenchman is only 1.5 seconds slower than Gronholm through stage 18. That was Gronholm's 4th fastest time of the weekend, but Loeb's lead is still over a minute. Hirvonen has continued to edge away from Sordo. The gap between 3rd and 4th now 10.7 seconds. For Atkinson, that change in setup has cost him dearly. He's now nearly half a minute behind Sordo. Just one more mountain stage remaining then before the super special finale back in Leon, and the last realistic chance for Sordo to grab back 3rd. Manfred Stoll, meanwhile, is continuing to take a safety-first approach in his efforts to hang on to 6th. Manfred and co-driver Ilka Miner have had a faultless weekend, but have just had no answer to the blistering pace of the front runners. They finished on the podium here last year, but a repeat of that was always going to be a tough proposition this season. He loses more time to Latvala, but remains 25 seconds ahead of the young Finn, with just the super special to come. While ahead on the leaderboard, Mikko Hirvonen has just 18 kilometers here to see off the threat of Sordo once and for all. He's looked very strong this morning, though. Apart from that spin yesterday afternoon, it's been a very controlled performance from the Finn. And it's another terrific time for Mikko on stage 19. So this is it then, the last chance for Sordo to catch the flying Finn. Citroën team boss Guy Freckeland has demanded a good points finish from the Spaniard in Mexico, and he looks sure to deliver. He's on course to repeat the fourth place finish he achieved here last year, but can he make one last bid for third? It doesn't appear so. For the third time today, he can't match the pace of Hirvonen. He's second fastest through so far, but is another 5.2 seconds slower than the Ford driver. With Gronholm second and Hirvonen third, this is looking like another terrific weekend for the Blue Oval in the defence of their manufacturer's title. Marcus may be a little concerned by the Citroën C4's speed on gravel, but his pace has certainly been comparable with Loeb's once he found his ideal setup. The Rally of Portugal in 3 weeks' time is an intriguing contest in prospect. So the Finn has cleared the final long stage in one piece. Sebastian Loeb just needs to get through this final test, and victory number 2 of 2007 is almost certainly his. It's a testament to Citroën's development and testing program that the C4 has already proved as reliable as its predecessor, the Zara. After the tarmac of Monte Carlo and the snow of Sweden and Norway, the car has now come through its first gravel challenge with flying colours. Seb is fourth fastest on stage 19. No change on the leaderboard then, with just the 4.5 kilometres of the Leon Super Special to come. All positions look reasonably secure. Sordo now 15.9 seconds behind Hirvonen. But as we saw on day one, mistakes can be made on the tight, tricky confines of this final short stage. So one stage to go, and world champion Sebastian Loeb is just 4 kilometres from his 30th WRC win. Welcome back to the last stage of Rally Mexico, a 5th and final run through the Super Special. And one last hurrah for the fans here in Leon, who may have to wait a couple of years to see their WRC superstars again. Matthew Wilson is on course for his best finish of the year so far. The Stobart VK4 driver is only 20 years old and still finding his feet in the World Championship, but his first points finish will give him something to build on for the season ahead. Jari-Matti Latvala is the second youngest driver in the World Championship at 21, and much is expected of the latest Finnish driver to come through the ranks. Just a few kilometres to go, and he'll back up his fine 4th place in Norway with 7th in Mexico. Manfred Stoll is one of the most consistent drivers around. It's very rare that he finishes outside the points. Now the OMV Kronos Citroën driver has a gravel rally under his belt in the 06 Zara. The first time he's driven the car with mechanical differentials on gravel. He'll hope to be challenging for podium places again soon. Chris Atkinson changed his setup slightly for today's stages in an attempt to get back in the hunt for a podium place. It hasn't paid off, however, as he's lost time on all 3 of this morning's stages. He's been forced to concede defeat in his hopes of chasing down Sordo and Hirvonen. It's still been a promising debut for the 2007 Impreza, though. Despite the retirement of Petter Solberg, Atkinson finishes 5th.
Chris, you must be happy because you've been as high as 2nd. You've been battling right in it.
Yeah, it's a different world now, and it's good to be there, but still got a lot of work to do, and I think we can improve a lot. We need to keep that pace for the whole rally, and okay, we've been testing, and that's why some of the time we've lost speed, and other times it's been good, but we're going to make it work for the whole year.
It's been a terrific fight between Danny Sordo and Mikko Hirvonen for the final podium spot, so it's fitting then that the 2 young rivals race head-to-head over the final 4 kilometres of the Super Special. Sordo has proved again that he's becoming a force to be reckoned with on gravel as well as tarmac. He couldn't quite match the pace of the more experienced Hirvonen today, but his 2nd consecutive 4th place finish in Mexico is still a fine result. With nearly 16 seconds between them, it's highly unlikely unlikely that Hirvonen will throw it away now, although we did see a couple of drivers caught out round here on Friday. And as they approach the finish line, Mikko has a quick look to make sure he's ahead of Danny once again. Third place is his, and giving him his third consecutive podium place.
What a battle for that third overall this weekend.
Yeah, again. And okay, we had a spun yesterday, but managed to get back on third, so I'm really pleased with the points. But good fight, and you know, Danny as well, he was driving very well. So I'm sure we're going to have more fights like this.
And finally, it's first and second racing against each other. Marcus Gronholm must be wishing his car had been perfect on day one. He could have been the top dog here. That faulty temperature sensor cost him the chance of competing for the win on the first gravel rally of the season. Nonetheless, a strong recovery on day two when he climbed from 5th to 2nd shows his class. Gronholm will be fired up to fight from the start in Portugal. But here, it's all about Sébastien Loeb. The Frenchman and co-driver Daniel Elena are heading towards their 30th victory together. They're already the most successful of all time. Now they're setting records it'll be hard for anyone to match. Seb may not have looked completely confident on snow, but on gravel, as on tarmac, it's hard to see where his weaknesses lie. And no doubt his rivals will be even more discouraged that the C4, like its driver, is just as much at home on both surfaces. This win won't pull Seb to the top of the championship standings, but once again it'll be hard to bet against him. Smiles from Daniel as they bear down on the finish line, and Sébastien Loeb, as in 2006, is the winner of Rally Mexico. He's had a little bit of luck with Petter Solberg retiring and Marcus having problems, but even so, he's driven a near-perfect rally. Second win of the season for Sébastien then, Marcus second, and Mikko coming out on top in that battle for third with Danny Sordo. A first driver's point of the year for Matthew Wilson, while Stobart Ford teammate Latvala is in the points for a second successive rally.
More confident about the season now you've had the car on all the different surfaces?
Yeah, for sure. It was, as I said before the start of the season, we'll have to wait until Mexico to know really if our car is good everywhere, and it seems to be. So no, I'm really happy for that, and looking forward for the next rallies.
We expected that the car is competitive on this surface, but it's better to have the confirmation now in this rally. It's this surface. It's very important because we have 9 times on 16 rallies this surface, and it's very, very important for us to know that the car is competitive on this surface.
We've just seen what the C4 can do on gravel. Are you a little bit nervous about that?
No, we think once we get back to Europe, and we've got some more things coming with our car as well, so I think we've really suffered a little bit here as well because of the altitude. Okay, it's the same for everybody, but we think we've found something as well which will probably help us in the future. So no, we're not. I mean, I think the biggest thing is Sébastien. I think that's what we'll never underestimate Sébastien.
So Loeb moves up to second place in the Drivers' Championship, now just 4 points behind Gronholm, with Hirvonen dropping to third, 2 points behind the Frenchman. In the manufacturers' table, Ford stay top. Citroën narrow the margin between them, but only by a single point. Stobart, VK Ford and Subaru, both on 19 points. We're back in continental Europe at the end of the month for a highly anticipated WRC return to Portugal. There's a full preview of the event on WRC.com, along with all the latest rally news. But in Mexico, it's Sébastien Loeb and Daniel Elena back on the top step of the podium, and the performance of the new Citroën C4 suggests it won't be the last time we see them there this year. Don't forget the next chapter in the fascinating story of the 2007 season in a few weeks' time in Portugal. But for now, it's goodbye from Mexico.